This is how to make an A-frame fire lay. Pretty awesome fire lay, not used very often, but it's a classic. Now, if you've ever put up an A-frame tent, you old timers, you know that A-frames take a ridge pole. And so what I'm going to use is a sharpened stick as my ridge pole for this fire lay. It's pretty simple. If you've got soft ground, go ahead and push that in sideways. And notice I've got it at an extreme diagonal right there. Now, if you do not have soft ground, you do have an alternative. And what you can do is take two sticks with Y's at the end, and you can simply use them to prop up your A-frame. Okay? Make it look real nice. Now this is your A-frame in a nutshell. We're going to build from here. This is going to be the entrance, and these two things are going to be the sidewalls. And from there we'll go. Now before you really start to put the walls of your A-frame up, I'm going to go ahead and put my tinder bundle inside. And I'm a bundler. Different people do this in different ways. If I'm in the desert, I'll use dead agaves or yuccas and things like that. Out here in South Texas, I just use a lot of grass and a lot of weeds. So lots of surface area, lots of places for the oxygen to get in. It give me a good hot burn so that my fire gets started. I'm going to go ahead and set that up underneath the A-frame so that it's there and ready for when I want to start my fire. Also, I'm going to be lighting from the front of this A-frame, and that's one of the benefits of this, is that as you put the walls on, you're going to have a guaranteed entrance to get your match or your lighter under here so that you've got your fire started. With a lot of your fire lays, you get overzealous, and you start building it, you get ready to fire it up, and you've forgotten to leave yourself an entrance to actually get it going. So you're going to have a place to put your match. You're also going to have a really good place for the oxygen to come up and for the heat to billow out, so it works real well. Sometimes I'll actually dig down up underneath to make sure that I've got enough places for oxygen to get underneath this big bundle. From there, it's all about just putting your kindling down in layers on top of the roof. So if this was an A-frame tent, you would be looking at the sidewalls. As a fire lay, we want to put down several layers of your kindling. And what that's going to do is you're going to have enough mass all the way down, enough surface area to get that fire started on some of those sticks. Now I'm going to put the majority of sticks near the entrance because that's where the heat's going to be funneled. The heat's going to be pushed out of that A-frame. I'm still going to put some twigs back there in the back, all the way down to the ground on that diagonal. Here we go. But I want to have the most layers in the areas where that heat's going to be concentrated most. You can get tied down and spend a lot of time on these fire lays. And I've seen a lot of them become works of art. And a lot of people have a lot of pride in them. It's pretty awesome. But you need to remember in the end that this is going to be burned. It's going to be a one-of-a-kind creation, and then it will be no more. If you're in a survival situation, you want to put lots of time and effort into these. It's kind of a trade-off. You don't want to be burning so many calories that you're taking away any benefit of having a campfire would actually be giving you. So you want to make them down and dirty, but you want to make them effective. But you don't want to rush it where it's an inefficient fire. If you've got to spend an extra 5 minutes building that fire lay to ensure that you get a fire, that you use only one match or just a little bit of butane, do so. You might be cold. You might be hungry. You're going to be a lot colder and a lot hungrier if you use up all your matches because you didn't spend an extra 3 or 4 minutes on a fire lay. So take your time. If your resources are finite, go ahead and go the extra mile. So what you're seeing here is that I've added extra layers on these sidewalls. And I haven't made them so that they are solid where there can't be any oxygen or flames licking up through them. I want the oxygen to go up through the roof. I want the flames to go up through. And I want them to pass between lots and lots of these twigs. And the idea is that you're not going to be losing any heat. You have more and more and more fuel for the flames to actually catch on to. And that's the idea. Do not pack it in there so tight that you cut off all of your oxygen. This is to get a fire started. Where you go from there and what kind of firewood you put on it as you progressively make it larger is up to you. Cook fire, light, heat, whatever you're going to build your fire for, that's going to be done after the fact. But fire lays are all about getting it started. At this point, I'm ready to go. This is going to be what's called a one-match fire, and that's what you really want to do when you are building a fire lay. You're putting everything together so that you have minimal effort when it comes down to time to light it. So one match or lighter, whatever you're using, you should just have a limited amount of burn. 20 matches should be 20 fires. That's the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and start this match up. Make sure that you're away from the wind or you're sheltered from the wind. And I'm going to go ahead and add that flame up underneath this fire bundle. Ensure that it gets started. So flame's on. Go ahead and add that match up under there. And if you've done it correctly, you should get lots of heat and lots of flame very quickly. So the slower it burns, the less likely you're going to have the fire that you need. One of the great things about having the A-frame is that you can continue to add fuel into the fire easily where the fire is originating. So everywhere that heat's coming out of, you still have access to it. So you can keep on adding twigs. You can take that question mark out of whether or not you've got a fire here in a few minutes. Now, it started up. From here, you just keep on adding larger pieces of wood. Boop. There you go, guys. Make sure that you always put your campfires out completely. Like and subscribe, guys. Till next time.